How you doing? So Sandra in AZ says, y'all don't even know this woman. You never learn. Anyway, I digress. We're going to talk about a couple of things and put them to bed in this video. Now, firstly, just want to touch on briefly, don't throw stuff at me, Cara Northington again. Because look, that video yesterday, it lit a fire under a few people's bums. I'm saying bums because I don't know how many seconds I can be into a video when I could say arse. Damn it. Did that work? Don't have my headphones on. Don't know if it's working. Anywho. So look, I knew that video was going to upset a few people. People would get stressed out and they would be like, you, how dare you? You don't know what you're talking about. You don't know the person. How dare you bring this stuff up? But I'll put this out first. This channel is not about saying what people want to hear. If you want to go to a channel and watch a channel that simply says what is the most popular thing, what is going to get them liked by many, then you're in the wrong place. Because that's not what this channel is about. This channel is called Harsh Reality, not Kiss Your Ass Reality. Okay? So I'm going to say some things that not everyone is going to agree with, and that's fine because you're also going to say stuff to me in comments that I don't agree with, and that's absolutely fine until you cross the line and start calling names and stuff like that. Then I'm just going to fuck you off. But anyway, look, Cara, this is my point about Cara. Now, Cara left, from what I can see, she was not in Xana's life from around 3 years old. And then she got into what she got into. And she's not a young girl. She's an adult. And she's lived this life up to around the time that this happened to Xana. Do you know what I mean? Now, I know there's people in this community who have suffered greatly at the hands of narcotics and abuse and various different things. They have come out the other side because they made a choice to better themselves, whether the catalyst of that was their own children, family, or they just decided that now was the time to do better. But everybody does have a choice. You just have to want to make that choice. You have to want to get out of it. Because to say that people don't have a choice and there is no choice, that is like saying, okay, then, so anybody who is now suffering at the hands of abusers, at the hands of narcotics that they've got into because of said abuse, they are now written off because there is nothing that can be done. There's no choice for them. There is nothing. The end now is just a bottomless pit. And that's bullshit. This woman got onto this interview, and let's not forget that she had skipped on a $50,000 bond. She's been involved, like I say, in the narcotics situation, and that no doubt has impacted others through what she has done. I could go on there, but let's just keep this simple. And she goes on to say that she is upset about the fact that this attorney is not going to be representing her because of the effect it will have upon her. She felt heartbroken that she had been betrayed. Did I say portrayed? I don't even know. But anyway, but she didn't at any point mention the fact that she is upset and angry because this person will be representing the person who did this to her child. And that is what's making her angry. She didn't say how she would contest it, and there was no way that she would sign off on this happening because she could never support this change because of Xana and what happened to her. She's also changed her name from Northington to Canodal. Now that to me is strategy. And maybe that's the cynic in me. but she wasn't Canodal. She was Northington. And now all of a sudden it's Canodal again. And again, to me, that's strategy. And look, I'm not saying I'm right, but what I'm saying is that is how I feel about it. That is what I think about it. And I'm not always right, and I can be an arsehole. But I'm not just going to get on this channel and start telling you what you want to hear because you'll like me. I'd rather you didn't like me because I'm being honest than you love me because I'm a full of shit idiot. There's plenty of them on this platform. Go and see them. Anyway, but what triggered all of this was this situation with the attorney and this conflict of interest. And look, at the end of the day, I don't personally feel there is that much of a conflict of interest when you take into consideration from the Xana situation that Cara wasn't in her life from a long time ago. You know, she wasn't part of, like, she couldn't even answer questions that were simple about what car she drove. Do you know what I mean? So there's nothing really there in terms of a conflict of interest. It could be that if Brian is a smart person, very, very smart, then he could perhaps manipulate the situation because ultimately Brian is innocent. At the moment, he is innocent until proven guilty. In terms of not public opinion, obviously, but in terms of the wheels of the law. And what that means is that he is entitled to the best defense that he can get. The absolute best he can get. Now, if he could turn around and say that he couldn't get the best defence because the best defence just happened to be someone who was representing one of the victim's family members, you know, that could be something that he could bring up. That could be a conflict within court. So look, maybe this wasn't such a bad move after all. Now, we could argue that this attorney, she just thought, hold on a second, I'm a career-driven female. I'm going to take this on because it's what benefits me. And if you had 100 people in exactly the same position, I guarantee 90 of them would have taken it. The 10 who didn't are either they don't need to be career-minded or career-focused, or they're not career-minded and career-focused, and they're more about just helping people. But let's not forget, they had public defence attorneys. You know, they sort of generally they're there to get guilty people off, and the better they are at doing that, the more money that comes into them. They get paid tenfold what prosecution attorneys get. They could be quite skilled and quite handy for the right people. But look, we can argue all day long what was right and what was wrong. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. It genuinely doesn't matter. What matters is this, is that if Brian Kohberger is the person who did this, that a jury can be convinced that he did it on his own, and with all of the, or the lack of, whatever evidence there is, that they can convict him. Or the flip side of that coin is that if he is not the person who did this, and there is more to it, and there was more people involved, that is got to the bottom of as well. So you, me, and everybody who has any interest in this being dealt with the best way possible, you would want the best people involved in it. So there cannot be a doubt. There absolutely cannot be a doubt. Because if the facts are there, and there is enough there that categorically says that this guy did this crime, then it isn't going to matter whether she is representing him or not. But what would you do? What would you want? Would you want Brian to go through the system and not be able to get the, you know, the representation that he is entitled to, and then he is turned over? A number is done on him, and the truth doesn't come out and someone else gets away with this? It's a valid question. And like I say, I'm not saying he's innocent, not saying he's guilty, because at the moment we just don't know. And all we've got is what we know and what we can see. And I just hope there's a lot more, because from what I can see and what we've learned ourselves, it doesn't tell you enough. It doesn't tell you that he did this. It tells you that there could be a lot more coming. But anyway, I've had enough. I'm sure you lot have as well. I'll catch you all in the next one.